when people are asked a question, who has been cancelled in the last couple years, they cannot find an answer. They literally cannot. You guys are naming people that are like offenders and out there racist and fucking like fucking people that promote harm and shit. Yo, that's not cancelled. That's the law. That's the fucking law. When you do a crime, you go to jail. You're not cancelled! You're a criminal!
What an insightful hot take. I think that sets the theme well for this video. For many people, Sky Does Minecraft is a childhood hero, a content creator I remember heading home from school to watch every single day. I remember their Pixelmon series with people like Husky Mudkips, their Prison Break modded videos with people like Sunday. I remember the butter meme that everyone in the Minecraft community somehow absorbed into their character for that era of time. However, it may appear that my support of Sky this whole time was misplaced, as while many people have come out about bad experiences with Sky in the past, like their previous romantic partner Alyssa, nothing compares to the 20+ people that have come out recently expressing their distaste with many of Sky's actions towards them, including Sky's ex-fiancée, who's come out about how Sky was physically and verbally abusive towards them while they were pregnant, how he was a terrible person, lied to his audience, and genuinely needs serious help because he's out of control. This has been a story that's blown up online, with many people being just disappointed beyond words that Sky was actually this type of person behind the scenes according to these allegations. So today I thought I'd sit down and go through all of them, discuss them with you, and because I believe I shouldn't hold any bias on this channel whether I like the person or not, I'm gonna make it very clear that I do not support Sky anymore. Sky is so clearly in the wrong here, and the fact that he's admitted that some of this is true means I have no reason to support him anymore. With that being said, before the video begins, as goes with all of these videos, if you are new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. That support would be highly appreciated. I'm aiming for 100k in the next few months. It's a goal I've been working towards for the past 7 years, and to see that I'm so close is ridiculous. You guys are always so supportive of this content, and that means so much to me. You can also check out my Twitter if you'd like to support me over there, see my tweets about situations, anything else I do over there, and if you'd like to see the streams I've started doing recently, you can check out my Twitch. That support would also be highly appreciated. As you can probably hear at the time of recording this video, I am very unwell, so I'm going to do my best to keep the sickness out of the video, but I'm so sorry if it makes it harder to watch this video because I sound like I am about to die. With that being said, let's get right into it. To start this video, I think it's important to mention that, as I said before, Alyssa was the first person to actually make claims like this against Sky, originally becoming majorly public through KSI's diss track towards Sky Does Minecraft, which is honestly one of the dumbest ways I've ever heard of something so serious being exposed, but because it was part of a diss track and because it was mostly relegated to the diss track, not really being mentioned outside of it, a lot of people took it for granted, thinking it was either a throwaway, didn't have evidence to support it, or anything else. Despite that, looking back in retrospect at the claims made in that video that Sky had been towards their partner, blamed it on alter egos, etc., and then cross-referencing it with the story that's now come out, it becomes very concerning. With that being said, I think it's important to talk about the story that came out. Drama summarizes Elizabeth's claims to be the following: Sky allegedly liking to cheat, stealing money from companies to buy drugs and making Elizabeth front the bill, not caring about the fact she's pregnant, in fact actively asking to buy their child that wasn't even born at the time for $100,000, and committing SA on multiple women, also allegedly paying them off to protect his image, spreading rumors about Post Malone despite being friends with Post Malone, Elizabeth's animal by dragging it by its throat and throwing it into the kennel, then surrounding it by mirrors because it was dealing with anxiety, painting the walls with his blood, saying racist comments as well as using the N-word, which allegedly happened while he was at the hospital, being beyond phobic yet preaching equality, being willing to genuinely murder people and threatening to murder other YouTubers like Ant Venom, hurting them and their animal, faking a game end attempt, and Elizabeth then goes on to provide more evidence across this document to support these claims. I'm not going to go over all of them because there's a lot of claims to go over in this video. Lanza's video does a good job of summarizing all of the claims in this post. I'll focus on some of the main ones, like animal abuse, the claim that he was awful with the pregnancy and childbirth, the fake game end attempts, and the claim that he was genuinely willing to murder people. Within the Google Doc, Elizabeth claims the following.
I wasn't ready for a baby. I spoke of always wanting one, but I continuously told you I wasn't ready, nor was I financially in a place to have a child. You squeezed my body and were near begging for me to let you get me pregnant, saying stuff like, please, please, I want another kid. I have the money. I want another kid because Alyssa keeps me from being the father I dream of, and much more. When I started to get uncomfortable and tried to stop the intimate moment, you pressured me into letting it happen. You didn't stop until I felt forced to say, fine, while completely uncomfortable. I cried myself to sleep. When I told you I was actually pregnant, you had the oh cool face and a slight smirk, as if you got what you wanted all along. At the time, I was just oblivious. I thought I was just overthinking everything. I continued to pretend everything was fine. You made me propose to you. I kept telling you it was too soon. I kept saying I wasn't ready. You would reply with, you were literally pregnant? As if you didn't care how I told you I wasn't ready for that either. You continuously pushed it. I kept saying I'm not ready. You even tried convincing me to let you buy my unborn baby. You said word for word, if you don't want her, I'll just give you like 100 grand or something. You act like your kids are just objects. You haven't had that kind of money in years. You kept pushing and even made me order rings and made me sit down and engage myself to you. I was heartbroken, and my dreams of marriage were beyond crushed. You made the announcement on Twitter that you said yes. You didn't mention how it was forced. Why did I leave? Why didn't I run as fast as I could? Because I was scared. You treated me and everybody as peasants, and would use your popularity against us.
I don't even think I need to explain how unacceptable it is that Sky was actively telling the person they were romantically involved with that they wanted them to have a child, and when they said, no, I'm not ready, Sky kept forcing them and pushing and pressuring them to have that child until they eventually said yes even though they didn't want to. That completely takes all control out of the parentalship. When having a child, both parents should want the child, because at the end of the day, they both have to raise it. It's their kid. It's unacceptable that Sky would do this to someone, and the fact that Sky thought he would get away with this is ridiculous. I know that he tries to argue to Elizabeth that no one would believe her because he's King Sky Does Minecraft. It's unacceptable that a creator I respected was misusing their platform to scare their romantic partner into silence about the fact they had forced them to have a child, forced them into marriage, and more. It's really scary to me that Sky thought they could tell this person who didn't want to have this child because they weren't ready that they would just buy the unborn child for 100 grand. After Sky allegedly coerced this person who allegedly did not even want this child to have the child, Sky then attempted to purchase the child, the weight they'd just put on their shoulders, off of them. Purchase this child he forced upon them for a measly 100 grand after going through pregnancy for 9 months. This is unacceptable. There's no excuse if this is true.
You have also assaulted and sexually harassed several women, even paid them off with hundreds of thousands of dollars just to protect your perfect little image. You paid a girl to keep quiet years ago because you almost got her pregnant and you didn't care. You sent nudes to young girls. You never asked for ages because you never cared. If they walked, you talked. That's not the first time you have done things. You'd be surprised what I've seen and found. You were extremely unfaithful. As soon as I left you, you my best friend, who I considered to be like a sister. Over the years, you failed to acknowledge how you'd pay young girls money for their time and attention. Cheating is gross.
Elizabeth makes the very bold claim that Sky had committed SA on several women and attempted to pay them off with thousands of dollars so that you could keep your life. Allegedly also involving yourself with people that may have been underage, not even caring about what their age was, not even asking. And it's heavily implied here that some of these girls may have been underage by the fact that Elizabeth says they are young girls. Now, as far as I'm aware, there is no evidence of this claim. However, this is a very extreme one. If this claim is to be true, it's one of the more severe ones and one of the more incriminating ones that could get Sky in a lot more trouble. But that's not to say that's the only gross thing discussed within this document.
You dragged my dog by his throat and threw him in the kennel, then surrounded him by mirrors, all because he was nervous. He just never liked you deep down. You tried getting in my face when manic, so my dog would intervene and bite you to protect me and the baby, in my belly still. You drag him again.
It's obvious if claims like this are true that Sky is a mentally unstable individual, someone that's capable of harming animals and people in this way and has no respect for anyone else but himself. There isn't an excuse for that though. Sky chose not to take his medication. Sky continued repeating this behavior despite knowing exactly how disgusting it was, and even when Sky would have sober moments, he did not care about about what he was doing here. It's unacceptable for Sky to have been doing this, and the excuse isn't just that he's got mental health issues. These problems are still 100% his own, and it's obvious to most people that despite having mental health issues, your actions are 100% your own.
You ended up randomly punching the big amethyst you have from being frustrated, and cutting a gash into your knuckle. You came to me and I continuously tried to clean it and bandage it while our friends tried to keep you calm. You came up to me with the bandages off and started putting blood on my face and on my arms. I was horrified. You started painting on the walls with your blood. You put blood marks on our lizard tanks, and our bathroom walls as well as all of the mirrors. You elbowed my belly several times. I was just trying to love you. I continuously spoke calmly and did everything I could. I kept trying to get you to the hospital. You wouldn't even walk in the front doors without starting to threaten me and act violent unless I took you home. We all ended up convincing you to go in to get your hand checked out. My pregnant self had to push you through the hospital in a wheelchair, while you screamed degrading comments at me. I walked you to the counter, said you needed your hand checked. They asked if you needed a social worker. I said no, and I started shaking and tears started falling. The lady kept calm and nodded quietly to me, and we were brought up into the inpatient hospital room. You became violent with me. You called me disgusting names, saying racist comments as well as the N-word, and trying to fight the staff. I still tried to love you and speak calmly. I came up to you and you started screaming and kicking your feet into my belly, and started shoving me away screaming awful things. I thought I was going to miscarry, it hurt so bad. I stood up and the social worker hugged me while I bawled my eyes out. Security took over again. They made sure I was okay and had me leave. I called to check on you every hour even though I was falling apart. The nurses called me to make sure I was okay and I'll never forget them. You were then hospitalized for a week.
Claims like this, that Sky was physically and verbally abusive towards Elizabeth, raised the exact same points that were raised way back in the day by Alyssa during the diss track. That Sky was someone that mistreated their romantic partners very severely, and claims like these are very, very, very concerning. In situations like this, Sky should not be with this person or close to them, and Sky should 100% be receiving help to make sure that they don't do like this in the future. This is upsetting to me that claims like this were out in the past and barely anyone took them seriously because they were included in a diss track drama and not taken as seriously as they really genuinely should have been. Hearing Elizabeth recap these likely traumatizing moments where as a pregnant individual they had to push Sky through a hospital as he was screaming verbal insults at them, these moments sound awful, incredibly upsetting. I don't know how Sky put people through this and thought he was ever able to silence them because he's Sky does Minecraft. Your respect and clout that you were using to silence people, that clout, the value of it disappears the second you treat anyone like this. But it seems like romantic partners were the only people that Sky mistreated, as Elizabeth goes on to discuss Ant Venom, a friend of Sky's who Sky would allegedly say he was going to kill on multiple occasions.
You continued to break shit. You destroyed our home. I couldn't keep up anymore. You were threatening to kill people. Our roommate, our friends. You for some reason kept bringing up Ant Venom and how badly you wanted to kill him. You were fully in psychosis at this point. You were willing to genuinely murder people. I had dozens of voice recordings of these threats, but you screamed at me and threatened me to delete them when you found out. The police were informed of these recordings.
This is a very serious and concerning claim, and obviously the second this claim was made, people like Ant Venom came out with a public post about this situation that reads the following. It was around 2019 and 2020 where Adam had called me and he was clearly not in a good state of mind. His home was a wreck and he was frequently in some kind of psychotic state. I can confidently say that I was scared during these calls. I was scared that I would be the trigger for him to do something bad. Even though all I wanted to do was support him and calm him down, Adam has been my friend since 2009, and even if I felt the odds were absolutely stacked against him, I always wanted him to have an epic comeback, find peace and live happy. But again, because I was kept just outside of arm's reach, I had no idea about the things that were going on that Liz described within her message. Adam did some truly unforgivable things that other people have shared their stories about, and he's especially done unforgivable things within the past few years, which I believe were directly influenced by him losing the remainder of his earned wealth. I still hope at the end of the day that Adam takes this life lesson to truly better himself. I know that at this point in his life, his sober mind works against him every single day. But again, what Adam did does not deserve forgiveness yet. I will only consider some kind of forgiveness if he does what I think nobody expects from him at this point and actually strives to fix his life. Show the world you can change. I won't ever forgive you if you don't. In just the past few months prior to all this coming out, out, it really did seem like Adam was trying to improve himself, but he had shown me no real signs of actual progress. I was hopeful, but skeptically so. I have no idea if he was still being a menace to others throughout these past few months or not, so I can't speak on whether or not he was actually improving in any way. And honestly, it's quite sad to read this post from Ant Venom, finding out that this friend that you've known since 2009 was apparently saying they were gonna kill you behind your back to their romantic partner, and also saying they were gonna kill others, that they were doing all of this terrible stuff, and you didn't even know about it because you were just outside of the arm's reach of that information. I can understand how much that must affect Ant Venom, and I can understand why he'd release a post like this. If I was Ant Venom, the only way I would forgive Skye is if Skye did actually learn and change, exactly as Ant Venom puts it. I respect his opinion on this situation, and honestly, it sucks that Ant has to deal with something like this. With that being said, I think it's best I end this video here. There are many other people who have came out against Adam, including people like Deadlocks, Gizzy Gaza, Sub-Zero, Ashley Marie, and all of those claims within their own right are very serious. I do want to cover them, however I'd like to cover them in a separate video because I don't want to take away or minimize the claims that Elizabeth has made, and the only reason I mentioned Ant Venom is because it directly correlates to something Elizabeth spoke about. If you'd like a second video going over all the other claims, please do let me know down below and I'll look into it, investigate it, and get a video made for you. With that being said, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more videos just like this one. I would appreciate all that support as I'm aiming for 100k in the next few months. Feel free to check out my Twitter if you'd like to see my opinions on shit that doesn't get made into videos, or whatever else I have to say on any situation at all, maybe even a funny tweet or two. And feel free to check out my Twitch that I recently created if you'd like to see me have fun on streams and discuss drama over there. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time, and peace.
Said she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Said she wanna rock with it like me.